A wise man taught me the definition of tragedy: being born a brilliant violinist in a world without violins. We could say that Bob Chitester made the violin that Milton Friedman used to play the music of freedom for all the world to hear. It was through the Free to Choose project that Friedman became the biggest champion of human rights and free market capitalism. Without Bob's violin, Milton's brilliance, and the support of Rose, the world would be a much darker place today. A friend of mine runs a small construction business. One day he took his crew to a site to break ground. Within minutes, union goons surrounded the workers and told them to pack up and go, because theirs was not a union shop. A picket was placed across the only road to the construction site to block supplies and shut down the project. My friend called his electrician, plumber, and excavator, all union members, to find out how seriously he should be taking the threats. They all told him that no one would dare to cross the picket line. 3 years ago, Republicans in Congress introduced a bill to protect individuals from the coercive practices of American labor unions. The Employee Rights Act guarantees workers the basic freedom to decide whether to unionize or not, without fear of retribution. My friend's story explains why we must support this legislation limiting the abuse of power by big labor. This is America. There is no place in the land of the free and the home of the brave for threats, extortion, and violence by anyone, regardless of their intentions. In Bob Chitester's Free to Choose documentaries, Milton Friedman noted the following: when unions get higher wages for their members by restricting entry into an occupation, those higher wages are at the expense of other workers who find their opportunities reduced. When government pays its employees higher wages, those higher wages are at the expense of the taxpayer. But when workers get higher wages and better working conditions through the free market, when they get raises by firms competing with one another for the best workers, by workers competing with one another for the best jobs, those higher wages are at nobody's expense. They can only come from higher productivity, greater capital investment, more widely diffused skills. The whole pie is bigger. There is more for the worker, but there is also more for the employer, the investor, the consumer, and even the tax collector. That's the way the free market system distributes the fruits of economic progress among all people. That's the secret of the enormous improvements in the conditions of the working person over the past 2 centuries.